You're listening to the ASOTU CON Sessions by Effectv live from ASOTU CON 2024.
My goodness, the man, the myth, the legend.
Look at the crowd you draw.
Crowd that you draw. I mean, this is the power of just what did Paul Daly call us? Did he call us EV nerds?
Round of applause if you're actually here to see Elena.
No, I don't think so. That was
sorry. Numbers don't lie.
No. Now I'm all flustered. Okay, so let's talk about. Thank you, Jimmy.
My bad.
But I want to talk about, the things that are really top of mind for dealers these days, right? So we've got this huge, I think, in my view, this huge EV opportunity, whether you're looking at it as an opportunity or maybe not an opportunity or maybe a thorn in the side. But if we frame it as an opportunity, what for you, Jimmy Douglas? Oh, and I got so flustered that I didn't even give you a proper introduction.
That's on me.
So, Jimmy Douglas, founder and CEO of Plug. And I also forgot to mention that I'm Elena Ciccotelli, and I'm here at ASOTU CON in collaboration with Effectv. Okay, checked that box. Now, moving on, let's talk about what you're seeing, an opportunity for EVs and dealers. What does that look like today in 2024? Because it looks a little bit different than it did last year.
It sure does.
What does it look like today?
May I be a bit opportunistic and speak specifically to the used EV market?
Let's do it.
Yeah, it's huge. There are two basic categories of dealer sentiment in here, and it's either I'm all in on it or I'm not so all in on it. And the first thing that I'm going to say is either way, you're right. It's perfectly fine to be on either side of the equation. In fact, that's the safest place to be. The only categorically unsafe place to be, from my observation, is somewhere in the middle. Because if you're going to be in, then you can do it really well and profit handsomely, but it does require a different tool belt, a different set of skills and experiences and firsthand experiences to draw from when educating customers. But the biggest change between right now and a year ago, when I said effectively the same thing, is how the 25E consumer tax credit has become a bit of a gateway pill for dealers who were EV curious, to quote John Foley, to convert EV curious into EV experts, because that is an enormous swath of exciting opportunity for a new category of buyer that previously did not have access to a compelling EV product. And with the help from the federal government, their payments can be far more affordable, and in some cases, the more affordable option than a comparable ICE unit.
Yeah, and I think also too in what we had talked about, I think in one of our panels, we take the show on the road.
We're on tour.
We're on tour right now. And so we had talked about this a little bit, I believe 2 weeks ago, with the ease in which that point of sale tax credit now can be applied. And I remember we were sitting on stage with Dan Sadie from Norm Reeves, and he was like, this is so easy. And I asked him the question, like, you're working with the IRS. How is this difficult? No, it's easy. So with that in mind, what are some of the maybe other obstacles that dealers are coming to you with and saying, like, Jimmy, but there's X, Y, and Z problem, or it's the volatility, I don't want to get burned. What are some of the challenges that you're hearing?
Yeah, let's talk about volatility. It's real.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. This is a different asset. If you sit on it for 60 days, 90 days, the likelihood of something bad happening is very high.
Yep.
And that's going to be the reality for a while. There are so many dynamics at play with technological advancements and tax credits and foreign automakers aggressively entering the chat. The best weapon against volatility is velocity. And this has always been true in the used EV game. The dealers that we observe who are doing the bulk of used EV transactions are turning this inventory in under 30 days very consistently.
Okay, can you repeat that one more time?
Yeah. The dealers who are doing the majority of the used EV business that we observe are turning their inventory on average in under 30 days. But I'll do you one better. The top 0.1% oftentimes gets it closer to 2 weeks. or less.
So given that information, are you seeing now? Can we get into the nitty gritty a little bit more? Like, what are the makes and models that you're seeing that are going faster? I know. Shout out to car dealership guy. He just did an episode about how the Jeep 4xe is not moving. Like, what are some of the things that are like? Is it make model dependent? What are you seeing on your side?
The fastest moving vehicles are the ones that can be sold while harvesting that 25E credit.
Okay.
Anything that can be acquired at wholesale for below 21, 22K landed is in the highest demand. And then beyond that, a lot of it is really market or store specific. Some stores have become experts on selling used Teslas, despite the fact that they might be carrying a franchise banner for another brand, while there's also EV-focused independent dealers who might stock everything from the Bolts to the Ioniqs to the Teslas to the Polestars to the R1Ts. Really, it's all over the map, and there's no specific recipe that wins there. Oftentimes, it just comes down to focus and expertise and culture within that team, and it can happen pretty much anywhere in the country.
We've been on tour for too long because my next question was going to be geography. Thanks, Jimmy.
You're welcome. I'll tell you that we've observed a very small percentage of dealers who are moving a majority of the market. It's about 10% of dealers who participate in used EVs are swallowing a majority of the profit. And I'll answer the elephant in the room. 69% of those dealers are not in California.
Okay, are not in California, and what other states are they in?
Pick one. Nearly all of them.
Okay.
Not every single one, but nearly all of them.
Nearly all of them minus North Dakota?
I need to go back and check. I'm not sure if they're on that map.
Right, I know. I know there was like one or two states that are kind of like in that weird outlier position. So we talked about velocity. Anything for you that has been particularly surprising? I've mentioned more than once that we've been to many conferences in the last 6 weeks or so. Anything surprising that you may have learned from a colleague or from maybe a presenter or a dealer partner? Anything that kind of comes to mind?
I get surprised every single day. And I think the most surprising calls that I get are from dealers who tell me a story about inventory turn time that exceeds my expectations. Like every now and then I'll get a call from people that I've shared your stage with. I don't know if they want to be outed, but they'll tell me, these vehicles sell before they even show up on my lot.
Oh my gosh.
And that's pretty counterintuitive against some of the broader narrative, but it speaks to the power of being focused and honing expertise and brand equity around becoming an EV center of excellence. If people know that by coming to you, you're a trusted source of the educational journey, then the velocity speaks for itself, and it doesn't need to come at the expense at margin. In fact, it's the opposite.
And then and so when we talk about that educational component, is there anything that you and your fantastically talented team at Plug are doing to help dealers with that education component? Because I have done so many episodes with dealers, and it's like, yes, but we can do better.
Yeah, we're trying to help, but honestly, the best help is by helping themselves by becoming an EV driver. Really, nobody is more qualified to walk you through the nuances of charging and range and total cost of ownership and the lifestyle delta between what you're used to and what you're moving to than someone who's actually living it. The biggest difference that I see between stores who are crushing it here and have made the investment and those who are not is the ability for a customer to speak with any person on that team who will very confidently draw from firsthand experience in walking them through that journey. And we can give them information and training material all day long. None of it will compare to the expertise that you'll develop by living through the experience.
Yes, living through the experience. And I'm going to tell a quick story when we have our panel tomorrow, a quick plug of the plug for tomorrow's anyway. So last question for you. You will be taking a summer vacation in Italy this year.
That's right.
And will you be driving an EV through Italia?
I'm actually thinking about it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, no, I actually just started going through the process of renting a car in Italy, and I found out I need to get an international driving permit.
Okay, so yes, you do. And I remembered when, shout out to my husband, John Pasamato, when we went to Italy and we didn't have an international driver's license, and Sixt was very mean.
Whoops.
Yeah, Sixt was very mean to me, and I think they're still pinging my credit card. So anyway, Jimmy Douglas, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Round of applause for Jimmy Douglas.
Round of applause for Elena.
Jimmy, thank you.
Thank you for listening to this ASOTU CON session by Effectv. If you want more content like this, you can check out our other podcasts. We have a daily show called The Automotive Troublemaker, Monday through Friday. Here on podcast, also live streamed on YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook. We also have a long-form podcast called Auto Collabs. And if you just want to go a little deeper into this community, you should sign up for our regular email. We put our heart and soul into it. You can get it for free by going to asotu.com. We'll see you next time.